shifters, entrepreneurs on the move, with your host, Amanda Barr, bringing you power-packed 15-minute conversations with entrepreneurs who share their stories of shifting in life and business to keep on the move.
Welcome to the show. This is your host, Amanda Barr, and boy, do we have an incredible show for you today. We've got a live audience. Yes, I said live audience. We don't have just one shifter, and we're not going to have just two. We're going to have a whole group joining us soon, and I am so excited to share this opportunity with you. This show is going to be all about sharing our shifts in life and business to keep on the move, and I can't wait to bring our first guest up. I've got Adam Barr with RTB Financial Group. He also is a podcast host of Uplifters, Dynamic, and also My Better Half, and I'm extremely excited to have him join us today. Adam, please share a little bit about yourself and your shifts in life and business. The floor is yours.
Hi, thank you. It's always amazing to be together with my better half. I am an immigrant and an entrepreneur. I grew up in Israel and grew up in a broken home, lots of abuse, lots of bullying in school, a lot of homelessness and things like that. And I had a dream after I met a mentor family with one of the foster homes that I was in. And, they were an American family. The father was an attorney and the mother was a teacher, a school teacher. And the father used to take me to work and helped me get a little bit of structure in my life. And a few other mentors in my life, whether it's through the bodybuilding career that I started taking before I became Mr. Israel, and then another lady in the name of Myra that was a second mom for me, that was my first manager in my early career and the first sales career that I ever had. And so all of those people had inspired me to be a better person, to always want to improve, to always want to contribute to others and the community. And then they taught me about the concept of giver's gain. And because of their mentorship, I came to the United States. And I came here with no language, no family, nobody that I knew, no direction of where to go. And I landed up in New York with about $300 in my pocket. And I couldn't do any more bodybuilding. I didn't really want to do bodybuilding. I wanted to pursue the entertainment career that at the end of the stay in Israel, that's what I did. I went to school for performing arts. And so I performed in theaters in New York and all over the East Coast until I had an injury that crushed my voice box and prevented me from continuing to sing and continuing to perform. Because I didn't have health insurance, I needed to have multiple surgeries out of pocket. And even though I was eventually became a business owner in New York, the type of surgery that I needed cost a lot of money. Eventually needed to have about 14 surgeries to reconstruct my throat, which landed me in Los Angeles. I had one of the best surgeons that could treat me was in UCLA. And going through this journey makes you wonder, could I have done anything better? Could I have planned better? Is there anything that I could have had in place? Was there ego involved in not really preparing? Like all of those things that one asks themselves when they're going through a challenge and they think is the worst thing in the world that happens to them. But turns out that it was the best thing that ever happened to me because, I met my wife, I met you, and I got into the financial industry, learning about planning and the importance of being prepared and at least managing risks as we grow along, because we all know growth is a process and loss could be one event. And so as I got into the financial industry, I really committed myself to help and coach and mentor other people in preventing them from dealing with situations like I did, or helping them prevent those situations, and at least being prepared and removing that intimidation and fear in conversations about money and about finances and about investments and about, now you have cryptocurrencies and all of those things that people are maybe not familiar with. And so that fear makes us, many of us, not approach those topics. And so I made a commitment to simplify that and to have that more accessible to people. And I wrote a book. It's called Unleash Your Financial Powerhouse. It's an Amazon best-selling book, and it just helps people understand the phases that they go through in life in terms of finance and financial success. Really helps them evaluate the relationship that they have with money, meaning what is the internal conversations that they have every day when they hear about money. Do they say, oh, money is not going to get you happiness, it's just one of those things, it's just, we don't really need to worry about making more, or maybe that's not something that we can do, is just all of this rich people there just because money goes to money, and people with more money usually make money. I mean, all of those self-sabotaging and all of those self-defeating thoughts and conversations, right? What is the relationship of one with money? And then really developing the concept of what we call financial dignity, in really understanding and building that confidence that we don't only deserve money, it's not only probable, but it's plausible to be successful with money and finance and economy, and which we all know the most important economy is your economy, right? And so that's how I arrived here. I am managing a team of about 25 people in Beverly Hills, Texas, and we expanded to Hawaii. And looking forward to continuing to spread the word and coach and mentor people and help people really achieve the best version of themselves, to shift and to uplift, to be a better human being for themselves, for their family, and for the community and the world at large.
Wow. I might be married to you, but you're still so inspiring to myself and those that hear your story. And I know you only gave us a little snippet of all the things you have shifted and had to deal with and go through over your life, and just, those big shifts of moving across, across the world, starting new, changing companies, changing industries and careers, and having a crazy accident that literally, stopped your dream in its tracks, and you still shifted to make something even better from it. You're a true inspiration, Adam. And
Thank you.
I would love to ask my signature question, and since we have you here, and for those that are listening, Adam is going to join me for a full show on June 8th. My birthday is June 7th. It's my birthday present to me to have my incredible partner in this life to join me to share his story of shifting. So he'll go into more detail on that. But since I have you here today, can you share with us what you wish everybody actually knew about what you do?
I think what I'd like people to know is, first, that there's always an opportunity to optimize and be better, and not to be afraid of what we don't know, because we don't know what we don't know, right? Sometimes we say to ourselves, oh, I have it taken care of, or I'll be okay, because maybe we're not wanting to reveal, or because we're ashamed, or there's a lot of shame and guilt of like, I am not as successful as I want to be financially, or I don't want people to know what I've done because this is kind of like, intimate, and maybe they'll judge me and stuff like that, right? At any level, right? It doesn't matter at what financial success or wealth level an individual is. And what I've learned through others and through working with over 10,000 clients in the last 13 years is that we always have an opportunity to learn something new. We always can take one step or two steps or three steps ahead from where we are right now and optimize and make things more efficient, learn something new. And with the worst case scenario, if we're, if everything is good, we're never going to undo anything good that they have in place. But if they are looking to really build a strong foundation, if anyone wants to build a strong foundation, they want to make sure that they have a solid plan so you can help them sleep better at night. If they want to minimize any exposures or liabilities, what happens if something happens to one of the person in the family or ourselves, right? What do we do? Like, what is going to happen, really? And then minimize their taxes and risks and liabilities, maximize cash flow, financial opportunities, business growth, creating a better succession or exit plan, really making sure that someone has a true diversification, or meaning that they're not putting all of the eggs in one basket in all of the elements of finances, right? It's not only, do I have conservative assets or moderate or aggressive, but it's more so how is my wealth or assets being taxed as I'm trying to build it or as I'm trying to grow it? How much money am I paying on taxes for the money that I earn? How much money am I paying on money that I have? How much money am I paying on assets that I will sell? Right? All of those things, having proper things in place will make a completely different result. And that takes a mindset shift from, oh, everything is good, I'm all set, to openness and willingness to really listen and learn and see whether or not there's some possibility for an individual or individuals or business owners or families to do better and to have a better future.
Amazing. Thank you for sharing. And for those that are listening today, how do they get in touch with you real quick? And then I'm going to bring our next guest up to share his shifts. So if you could share real quick, Adam, how do they get in touch with you?
Well, not on TikTok yet, but I am. I'm in my mid-40s, so I'm still doing texting and the traditional stuff. I have an Instagram. It's raisethebar.rtb, and my email abar@rtbfinancialgroup.com. Raise the Bar Financial Group. The best way is to either text me or call me on my cell phone, which is 310-497-9226. We believe in real relationships, and so I want to have people get direct access to me. 310-497-9226.
Awesome. And reach out to him. He is texting people all the time, making sure everybody's taken care of. Thank you so much, Adam, for joining us today. Such a pleasure to hear your story. And join us live, 10 a.m. Central Time, June 8th, to hear Adam's full story, if we can get it all in there, because it's quite the story, where he's going to share his shifts more in detail with us then. Thanks again, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me.
So inspirational. It's such a blessing to be able to touch and be touched by those that are doing great things in this world. I'm going to bring up our next guest. He's actually the founder of Callcast. I've been running my podcast for about a year now, and he created this from scratch, all from an idea, turning phone calls into podcasts. I can't wait to hear his shifts. I'm going to bring him up to talk right now. Adam, welcome to the show.
Hey, Amanda, thank you so much for having me. Can you hear me okay?
I can. I know this is your platform, Adam. It's so exciting to have you on with us.
Yeah, and I just want to say thank you so much for all the support and help that you've given me. You've been part of the Callcast app since the beginning, testing it, trying out new features, putting up with little bugs here and there, and it's just been an incredible journey. And you know what? It really is amazing to have help from friends and people like you who support you along the way. I couldn't do it without people like yourself, so I really appreciate it.
Yeah, you're so welcome. And I know that even in the, shifting, like this is, having a podcast and going from not having a podcast to a podcast is a shift. Running a business, starting something new. So I've definitely been using my show name through all of this, and I'm glad to be able to help you. So if you can, maybe share a little bit about your story, Adam, and maybe a little bit of the shifts you've taken along the way, and when you started Callcast, actually, that'd be great to know.
Yeah, I really love this concept of shift and shifting because I feel like life is all about these kind of shifts that we make, some giant shifts and big shifts, and then some small little incremental shifts along the way that lead up and make up these bigger shifts. And, life is never really just a straight line for most people. Maybe for some people, it's just they know exactly what they're doing and exactly how to get there, and everything falls right into place. And for a lot of other people, it takes a lot of pivoting and moving around and searching and discovering, trying things and failing and trying things again. So the journey for me has been it was never a straight line. From a young age, I discovered early on that I was very dyslexic, and school was just disastrous for me and really difficult. And so I always found myself kind of a little kid. I wouldn't come back in from recess just because school was so difficult, and I would just stay outside. And so my parents realized early on that something was wrong, and I just had, was never wanting to go to school. So I think the first shift for me in life was just this realization that I felt very alienated and different from the other kids in the classroom who seemed to always know the answers and knew how to sit at their desk and, pay attention to what the teacher was saying, and could complete the assignments. And for me, it just felt like a chaotic wreck. So the first shift for me was just kind of having to figure out, like, why can I not do this, and why am I so different? And so what I discovered through that journey as I went forward is that the classroom for me was never where I was going to learn. And the way in which I began to learn about the world and learn about things was when meeting other people and hearing their stories and learning about their adventures and their ambitions and their, things that motivated them, and their pains and their sufferings and the things that were difficult for them. And that's where I really just kind of fell in love with learning and being part of the world was meeting other people. And so it was really the tangible, real world things. And so for me, I did fall in love with technology and working with apps and building stuff because it had creativity, and it also was just an amazing way to connect and learn things. So I always loved technology. But then coming and discovering this, the podcasting world fit right into the love for meeting people and hearing stories and having conversations. And so, as you know, we launched the app last year, and then I ended up doing this challenge for myself to kind of really use the app in and out and discover what works and what doesn't. And I did 365 podcasts with a new person every single day of the year, where I would also then record, edit, and publish all in the same day. Always try to get it, no more than an hour of my day of recording, editing, and publishing, and just get that podcast out onto the Apple podcast store, or all the different places that people listen to podcasts. And I felt like if I could do that, I was meeting so many incredible, fascinating people, and I was asking them about what their fear in life was and what they learned by facing their fear. Because for me, so much of my life has been stunted by growth because of succumbing to fears and letting fears get in my head that then would prevent me from taking a risk or putting myself out there more. And I always found the more I did end up putting myself out there into the world, the more I would learn, the more I would interact with more people, the more connections I would make with people, and my world would get bigger and grow. And then I would also find the more that I stepped away or stepped back or didn't do something that felt scary, it came with the cost of not learning, not growing, and to this podcast point, to not shifting, right? I felt like by doing something and challenging ourselves, it's kind of like shifting gears and going from first gear into second gear, and things might come and go faster and faster in your life, but it also gets more exciting and more interesting. And so, yeah, it's been a wild ride of launching this app, Callcast, and getting it out into the world in a space. I've built a lot of stuff, but a lot of different apps for myself and for other people. The app, all the things I would build and businesses I would run wasn't really something that aligned with my true passions. And so when you do discover something and are able to create or work in a space that aligns with your true passions, something that really excites you, then I think it changes the dynamic and makes everything a lot more special.
Yeah, incredible. Thank you for sharing. And I do have to give a hats off to Adam for 365 podcasts. I've only done, this is 43. I can't even imagine every single day scheduling and getting people to, and all while building and setting up the app so it would run for everybody else that's doing their podcast. So quite impressive. I actually want to see if we could do something very unique. We have Adam. I have two Adams on my first live show, which is awesome. I want to see if we can bring my Adam, my better half, up to the stage. And if you guys have any questions for each other, because you both know each other, but you guys went through shifts, and I like how Adam shared about the fear, and Adam shared, my Adam shared all about the things that he had gone through, the traumas and uplifting. So I'm actually going to see if we can, you guys, if you don't mind, Adam, I'm going to bring him up at the same time. So I have all of us on here. So I guess if we can, would one of you have a question for each other?
Yeah, I'd love to ask Adam Barr a question. So thanks so much for sharing. I really appreciated and enjoyed listening to your story and the shifts and the journeys that you were on while you were sharing earlier. And I was thinking, I wanted to ask you about that time in your life, just because you've made so many giant leaps from coming from Israel to America, and then pursuing these dreams, and then ending up with health issues that really had to change the direction of your life. And you mentioned a number of surgeries, and I was really wondering about that mindset that you had or you learned about when you get that news of needing to go into surgery, and how scary that could be. And it's relevant, I think, even now with people going into the hospital and dealing with COVID, and how scary it is when you get this news about your health, and if you're going to be okay, and you're going to need surgery after surgery.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit or share a little bit about mindset and what you were contemplating or thinking about with having to deal with the health issues, and then how do you battle back or come back from those things, or just what did you learn about mindset when you were going through all that health stuff?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I think what I learned in my childhood kind of gave me the strength to deal with situations like the injury, like being here with no acquaintances or friends in the U.S., or being homeless in New York, right, for a little while. So, we have, as human beings, we have this expectations that things should be a certain way. And that expectations is often leads to a lot of disappointment. It leads to a lot of anxiety and fear, because things are not the way that it should be. There's a lot of should be and expectations and judgment of ourselves. And when something like that happens or an obstacle comes in, it's almost a disruption of the picture that it should be and what people will think and what is going to happen. And I don't know, because we seek certainty, right? One of the biggest things that we don't like to deal with or are afraid of is uncertainty in life and doubt, and that leads to a lot of fear. And so what I learned from my childhood and from my mentors and going through all of those obstacles in life, that learning that things are generally come in a linear fashion where, I need to do this in order to get this, and I need to have this in order to accomplish that, is, to me, has shifted, and for me has really became something, an understanding and belief that no, we don't have to be linear. I don't have to go through all the steps that we kind of get corresponded by either peer pressure or by society or by media. I can write my own ticket for whatever that is, right? Whether it's an obstacle with health, I can decide that I love my situation, even though it's extremely challenging, because I love the process of what I learned from that situation. And, it helped me start writing my book. It helped me get to a place where I met my wife, where my complete environment changed from New York to Los Angeles. And I've just made a whole new purpose in my life to give back in the economic sense or financial sense to other people, where before it was, given my voice or, so now I give my voice in a different way. So whatever it is, it's not the end of the world. It's just a certain process and a journey. And I think it becomes, even if it's tough, right? Because we put the label of tough on things or overwhelming or hard or scary on things. But if we moved to the other side or another angle and really start looking at things and remove the expectations or the fear of judgment or fear of failure from our vocabulary just for that situation, and then really ask, how could I handle this in the best way possible? Then I'm not focused on perfection, but I'm focused on progression or making this happen and making myself grow through this process. I think all of us will just be able to handle situations better. And that's how I look at situations. And after developing that muscle, it happens very quickly for me, where most people really have to struggle with something for a long time. It's, you get to exercise that muscle again and again, and you that becomes your mindset over time, that it's okay, I'm going through this. There's definitely a hidden gem here for me, or a lesson. Everything is possible, right? So what is the possibility that this is creating for me that I can't see right now, right? Because we think we see the whole picture sometimes, but it's oftentimes we can't see into the future, and we can't connect what the past and the present and the future will bring to us through this situation yet. We will in the future. And so I just have a little bit more faith now and trust to know if there's something that is happening that seems like it's not aligned with what I'm trying to accomplish, then there's probably something there that I get to learn and I get to grow from and improve.
Awesome. Thank you for sharing, and thank you, Adam, for asking Adam about that question. I think it really brings up so many different nuggets from so many different areas. And we did have another audience member join, and I'm super excited to bring them up when they're ready. If you're ready, just give me a hand, and I'll bring you up. And if not, I'll maybe if we have any other questions, if you guys have questions for each other, either way, we can answer one more question and then bring our next guest up.
Adam, would you say you have a mindset? Do you ever hear about like the abundance mindset versus the scarcity mindset, and how do you
Absolutely.
view either of those?
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, absolutely. Yeah, there's, in the big, look, I was a competitor, right, in bodybuilding. I was, I competed to be the best physique in the country, and fortunately, with a lot of hard work and dedication, I won that national championship. And when you are an athlete and you're competing, there is a sense of scarcity there in a way, right? Because you need to be the best that it could be, and so if someone sees what you're doing and somebody tells another person about how you exercise and how you eat and how you rest or whatever it is, your secrets, if you will, right? Then you may not be the national champion, and then over time, and as I was doing smaller competitions in physique and bodybuilding as a teenager, I realized that I really don't compete with other people. I compete with myself because I am able to really focus on how can I be the best version of myself. So that shifted for me from more of a scarcity, I cannot share, I should not share, to like, I'll share all of my knowledge. And oftentimes what's interesting is that people actually don't take on some of what you say, and or take some or take none. And a lot of people, even if it could be very helpful for them, don't act on that. So, like today, this is, I've dedicated my life to sharing. I mean, I did it through a book. I have my own show. I appear on a lot of different shows. I'm working on a movie now to share my life, to get everybody to kind of learn from some of those lessons and some of those challenges and real tough time that I went through in life, so they can be inspired. But when someone talks to me about, how I'm successful in business, or, how am I able to attain the things that I attained, and so on and so forth. Yeah, so what I realize is that there is enough success in the world for everybody. There's enough money in the world for everybody. You kind of see what's happening in the cryptocurrency world, and new decentralized finance and blockchain and all of that, where we have over 7 billion people in the world, and the majority of the people in the world don't have access to economic success and financial systems and so on and so forth. And that's what's so exciting about what's happening now in the new economy, if you will, and the new financial tools that are happening, is that all of that wealth is going to be brought on to this new platform or platforms for all over the world, right? So people that are hardworking, they have goals, and are learning about how to build financial success and build abundance for themselves, they'll be able to have an opportunity too. And once you get on those platforms, it's you build microeconomies, and then eventually it gets bigger and bigger. But you bring the majority of the world onto financial opportunities, it's going to be more success in the world. And there's plenty now too. Every obstacle is an opportunity, and every opportunity that sometimes seems like an opportunity may not be. It could be an obstacle in the future. So there's plenty for everybody to win. It doesn't take away from anybody else if a one person win or if you win. It just contributes to the overall success of the network and the community, and then eventually the world. And one of my good friends once told me, rising tide lifts all ships. And so if you help somebody, and if you share with somebody and you help them get abundance, it just lifts everybody up. And so I try to live my life by that notion that sharing is caring and giving back and adding value without the fear of like it's taken away from me is a lot more powerful than thinking that the world is scarce and if I give, I take away from me. And so focusing on the whole and the community is a lot bigger than looking at, what am I losing by giving?
Yeah.
Give
I
is
love
gain.
that. Giver's gain, shifting to abundance. What I heard from your share, Adam, was all about abundance. There's enough in this world for a lot of people to do a lot of great things. So, thank you for sharing. Thank you, Adam Weber, for sharing your stories. We've got 2 more audience members, and I'm going to bring them up. I see Juan Pablo has joined us. He also has a podcast, and he's a team member with Adam Barr at RTB Financial Group. And we've got an artist joining us today, Kate Faye. I'm going to bring her up first, and then thank you both. And Adam, how can they, Adam Barr, it's abar at RTB Financial Group, 310-497-9226. And Adam Weber, how can they find you? And I'm going to send you guys back and bring up Kate.
Thanks so much, Amanda. Thanks so much, Adam. You can find me at callcast.co. Reach out. I love to connect with anybody who's interested in storytelling, wanting to start a podcast, wanting to connect with more people. And Amanda, thank you so much for being part of the early Callcast adopters and really just kind of help propelling us forward and learning new things and finding bugs and always striving to help make us better. So I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thanks so much. Go download the app. And let's bring Kate on up. So, Kate, I'm bringing you up. Here we go. Welcome to the show.
Good morning.
Hi.
Hi, Amanda. How are you?
I'm doing good. Thanks for joining us on the show here live audience. First one ever.
Oh, my goodness. So exciting. I'm so proud of you and really happy to be a part of this.
Oh, well, I can't wait for you to tell us just a little bit about what you're up to. She's an incredible singer. Go download her music. She's going to tell you where to find it. You're going to be grooving all day long to her tune.
Oh, my
tell
goodness.
Tell us more.
Thank you so much. So, so I describe my sound as feel-good soul pop. I actually wrote a bunch of songs while I was studying at the Berklee College of Music in Boston. And I released my first EP at the end of 2019. It's called Duality. It's streaming on all the platforms, so you could find it on Spotify and on Apple Music and Tidal and everywhere else. We're just not on Pandora yet, so going to have to get there. But yeah, this is kind of a collection of songs that I wrote as I was going through growth, really, right? And everything that comes through that. So the pain, the trauma, the realization that you got to take time to get through things, and just really kind of going through a challenging time and coming out on top, focusing on what all of those challenges brought me in the form of lessons. So we've got some kind of soul jazz sounds on this EP. We've got some kind of neo soul rhythm and blues on this EP. We've got also some kind of disco funk pop that really gets you dancing and gets you in a great mood and gets you grooving. And then we've got more of a ballad too, more of a, shall I say, kind of rhythm and blues pop ballad. So 6 songs total. And yeah, I think, is Burn still your favorite song, Amanda?
I know. Well, I mean, they're all at the top, but I do love Burn. She's got some good ones. Kate shares from the heart when she writes a song. You're hearing a story. And, I know there's a lot of artists out there that write from that place, but Kate really comes from there. Her songs are, and if you know her, it makes it even more special.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, so I'm focusing on writing some new material right now. I would love to get a full-length album released. That's a goal of mine within the next couple of years. And of course, the writing process is full of, so much good stuff, reflection and growth, even sometimes as it can be hard. We all know about that, but yeah, it's feeling really good, and things are starting to feel a little more normal in the world too. I think we're really moving towards progress with, people wearing masks and getting vaccinated and hopefully getting towards, reopening the world eventually. So then, collaborations in person are becoming more possible, hopefully eventually. So that's super exciting because co-creating is something that really just gets me really motivated and really excited. And that's how I love to make music, is with other people. Doing it all on your own is okay, but for me, it's not as fun.
Yeah. Yeah. And you've got a few people. I know that one of the things that I saw that you were doing was you were singing two different locations and sharing the stage, so to speak, on video, but in two different locations, singing the same song.
Yeah.
Look what's possible today.
Yeah. I know. Goodness, there's so much, right? It seems like there's new social media platforms popping up every day. And just technology sort of allows us, to connect with other people. I know on TikTok you can do duet videos, and that's probably one of the ones that you were referring to. So you could duet really with anyone around the world. So it's at least a decent way for us to connect while we're still, not necessarily supposed to be together in person.
Yeah, you missed it. Adam Barr, he had shared that he doesn't have a TikTok yet. He's still going old school, but I know we're not cool enough yet. I mean, you're too cool for us, Kate.
Our good friend Gina Naknak, the marketing strategist, says TikTok is where it's at. That is the new it. So we got to get out on an account. And you too, my dear. Are you on TikTok already?
No, that I'm still old school. I mean, hey, I'm doing a live podcast though. I'm pretty forward thinking right here, thanks to Adam Weber and Callcast co-app. So enjoying what I can. There's a lot of platforms out there, like you were saying, for music, for business, and it there's so many, and you want to be on all of them, but you really got to dedicate the time. And so I had to choose, and I chose.
Absolutely.
Maybe you'll see me on TikTok later doing a dance, but not yet.
I love it. So what else is going on?
I know. Well, today is just about sharing the shifts. I have one more guest I'm going to bring up. We've got Juan Pablo joining us. He is going to share a little bit. So maybe before, if you want to share anything else, how do they get a hold of you? How do they find your music? And maybe if you can answer the question before you go, what keeps you on the move?
Oh, I love that question. Well, thank you so much for inviting me. So my website is katefay.com. It's KATEF, like Frank, AY. And my Instagram is the Kate Fay, and then you could find me everywhere else with that handle. Gosh, you know what? So much of what charges me and kind of fills my cup, if you will, is connecting with other people on a deeper level. I love to go below the surface. I love to know what really makes other people feel strong emotions, right? Whether they're good or bad. When people are vulnerable with me, if you will, when they let me in, that human connection is really what moves me the most. It just absolutely fills my cup. That's why, Amanda, I treasure our friendship so dearly, because I know that we go way below the surface. And I would say, honestly, that is the easiest way to fill my cup.
Awesome. I love it. Thank you, Kate, so much for joining us today. It means the world to come on this first adventure of, going live and doing this and sharing your story. Obviously, this is getting recorded. We're going to be giving shout outs to everybody that shared today. So thank you for coming on. And Kate, we'll bring you on for a full show. We've got to get a time booked.
Absolutely. I love it. Thank you so much, Amanda.
You're welcome. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. We're going to bring up our last guest today. I've got Juan Pablo. Here he comes. Welcome to the show, Juan Pablo.
Hey, good morning, guys. I'm so excited to be here.
Yeah. Well, thanks for joining us on our first live show with an audience. We've got people listening with us right here live, and this is going to be recorded. Juan Pablo, share a little bit about yourself and how you got to where you are today.
All right. This is so exciting. That's awesome. This new feature, and I think it's great to build a nice community. So yeah, I'm in Los Angeles, California. I work with Adam. He's my mentor. I'm blessed to have him. I'm in the RTB Financial Group in the office in Beverly Hills, and I am VP of Business Development of the Latino community, and also I have a podcast. It's RTB Smart Money Podcast. Yeah.
Both Spanish and English. Both Spanish and English.
Exactly.
Right.
In both. Exactly. Yeah, I interview business owners, entrepreneurs, and people who are in the hustle, and they share the stories and bring some golden nuggets about money, about wealth, and yeah, sometimes it's in Spanish, sometimes in English, and sometimes in both.
That's awesome. And Juan Pablo,
right.
Can you share any shifts you've taken? You actually, if we go back in history a little bit, just because I know you have a company that you started in Mexico, and then you transitioned over into the financial world. Were there any shifts that you want to share in your journey?
Yeah, absolutely. So I started my company in NF Medica in Mexico like 15 years ago, and I'm still growing. I have 100 franchises all over Mexico, and I export my products in the Latino America countries. But here in LA, I met you guys. I met Adam, and now I'm 2 years from now in the financial industry, which is so exciting, and helping business owners, Latino mostly, to accomplish financial goals, and that's what I am at right now.
Awesome. And what keeps you moving? I know this is one of the questions I always ask, and I know we're already getting to almost an hour on the show. If you can believe it, we're live here for an hour with an audience. It's been so exciting. So tell us, Juan Pablo, what keeps you moving? Because you have this company in Mexico. You're now been in the financial industry. You have a podcast. And as we both know, running podcasts, they're exciting. They do take a little time, but it's so much fun. So what keeps you moving in all these things that you've got going on?
Well, I learned that the only constant in the world is moving. Is you have to keep moving. You have to be reaching your goals and have more things to accomplish, and that's what I looking for, to move forward and to bring my family along with this amazing journey, and which is life, and so we are so proud to be here, and my family is that really keeps me going to be the best that I can be.
Awesome. And he's got an incredible family. They're a lot of fun. And definitely doing good work in this world. And I love how you shared that, the only constant here is that we've got to keep moving. And I think that we all through what we've gone through in the last couple of years, that keeping on the move is definitely part of it, and shifting along the way. So thank you for sharing. And I think I'm going to wrap up the show. So thank you. I'm going to send you back to the audience and close this out. Thanks for sharing. Oh, right. Pablo, real quick before I close you out, how do they get a hold of you? And how do they get on your show?
Sure. Well, you can look in Spotify, iTunes, SoundCloud for RTB, Smart Money, Raise the Bar, Smart Money Podcast, and I'm right there.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Well, thanks, Juan Pablo, for sharing your story and your shifts. I'm going to get you back to the audience.
All right.
Thank you so much, everyone, for joining us today. What a show. What a shift. You guys all went live with me for the first time via video on Tuesday. Our show, Now Shifters, is live via video on Tuesdays, 10 a.m. Central Time, and Fridays with an audience. We're going to continue this. This isn't just a one-time thing. We're going to come on every Friday, 10 a.m. Central Time, to be able to share and have an audience to join in with our guests or talk about the topics that we're going to be talking about on Tuesday. So it's going to be very interactive, very fun, just like today, bringing multiple people up at the same time or asking questions, sharing stories. Thank you so much. Each one of you will give a shout out to you on our recorded podcast when it posts. And for all those listening today, keep on the move.
We hope you enjoyed the episode today. We appreciate each one of you for listening and hope you left inspired and motivated to keep on the move. If you think this episode might help or inspire someone else, please share. Don't forget to subscribe and keep in the loop to hear more incredible stories of entrepreneurs like yourself on the move. Thank you for our supporters, RTB Capital Group, Financial Powerhouse, Callcast, and Power Podcasting. Now, get out there and keep on the move.